Who likes tax season? I do. Yes, I do. Okay. Who likes tax season? A lot of people don't like tax season because they really don't understand taxes, but I can assure you taxes are not difficult to understand. I'm a little biased because I'm an accountant and I work in finance, but that's just me. Anyways, today we're going to be talking about 12 things that you can claim on your taxes this particular year, 2023. Going right into it, a lot of these things that I'm going to be talking about, you need to make sure you go onto the CRA's website and do your own research to see, one, if you're eligible, two, if you're eligible, if you can apply, and just to make sure you don't get into any trouble. You understand? Make sure you check you for yourself and ask your tax preparer or your tax accountant if you can in fact claim these things, if basically if they apply to you. The very first thing is digital news subscription. So a digital news subscription is it's a tax credit that's available to you if you pay qualified news agencies to get your news. So a lot of them have annual subscriptions, monthly subscriptions, whatever it is that you pay or that you have paid, you may be able to claim it on your taxes if you qualify. The next one is student loan interest. A lot of people don't know this. So you can actually claim the interest you pay on your government student loans on your taxes. So make sure when they send you those tax receipts that you keep them and that you actually use them. Don't just chuck them to the side because you think it's not important. It is very important. That's money that could be coming back into your pocket. Okay? So unfortunately, if you took out a loan through a bank or whatnot, this doesn't qualify. It's only government-based student loans. Next credit that we're going to be talking about is the first-time home buyers credit. Now, this used to be $5,000, and as of 2022, the government has increased it to $10,000. Meaning, if you're a qualified first-time home buyer, you can claim up to $10,000 on your taxes. And keep in mind, if you're married, you and your spouse can claim this. That is just juicy. Okay. Again, like I said, make sure you go to the CRA's website, check if you're eligible, and figure it out if you can actually claim it. Okay? The very next thing you can also deduct is medical expenses. Now, medical expenses also include if your company charges you a premium for, health benefits. So, for example, I live in Alberta, so a lot of us have something called Alberta Blue Cross. Whatever amounts you pay through your organization to Alberta Blue Cross, it's actually deductible. Medical expenses, drugs, for example, if you hurt your ankle and you have to buy bandages, stuff like that is medical expenses. So make sure you keep your receipts and you can actually add them to your taxes. There's a calculation for how that works, but that's not for this video. Okay, the next set of things you can claim is self-employment expenses. Now, if you're somebody who has a business on the side, a side hustle, side gig, any endeavor of any kind, basically, you can claim, of course, you have to claim the income, but you can also claim expenses against that income, for everything from your cell phone to internet to, home office expenses, whatever you pay, for example, meals, if you have to take clients out or you have to take potential, partners and whatnot out. So many other things you can claim as self-employment expenses. So make sure you check that out. The next thing you can also claim is a disability tax credit. Now, of course, you have to first of all qualify. The disability itself has to be qualified. So make sure you check. And it covers a range of things from mental, physical disabilities. This is just the government's way of, helping you out if you or a dependent, struggles with a disability of some sort. Okay, the next one is the Canada Caregiver credit. So if you're taking care of somebody or if you have to take care of somebody throughout the year that has, some sort of that needs care of any kind. A very good example I always use for this when I do tax seminars is, for example, people with autistic children or a spouse that happens to be on the autistic spectrum. You may be able to claim some things. Again, you have to speak to your accountant or your tax preparer, and you also have to get qualified through the government. So make sure you check it out. For example, if you're partially blind or if you're blind and you're medically blind, for lack of a better word, and you have to buy textbooks, for example, if you're a student, you have to buy textbooks in Braille, things like that, you can claim against your taxes. So make sure you ask those questions when you go to your tax preparer. If you're a teacher or an early childhood educator, make sure you find out what you can claim. So the government lets you claim money you spend on supplies like teaching supplies, pens, pencils, crayons, stuff like that you buy for the children in your class. So teachers and early childhood educators, make sure you check that out. The next thing is moving expenses. Now, a lot of people know about moving expenses, but what a lot of people don't know is the fact that students can actually claim moving expenses. So if you're a student and you moved from home, give an example. Your parents live in Calgary, you're going to the University of Alberta, which is more than 40 kilometers away from your house for home or school. It has to be full-time studies now, so mostly university education, right? Make sure you claim those moving expenses. It costs money for your parents to carry all your things and move you to the new city. You can claim the taxes. Okay. The next thing is childcare costs. If you have children, make sure you claim or whatever expenses you spend on them. Daycare is not cheap. Those costs you can actually claim against your taxes. There's certain rules around it. Again, not for this video. The next thing you also want to make sure you claim is investment fees and carrying charges. So for example, as we teach on Fixed Finance, you should invest. Anything you hold in a non-registered account, if they charge you any fees, you can claim those fees. If you borrowed to invest, for example, if you borrowed money, aka mortgage, to buy a rental property, aka investment, the interest you pay on that mortgage is deductible against that investment. Keep in mind, whatever money you borrowed has to be used for investment purposes in order to deduct the interest. So if you borrowed money to buy a TV, that's not investment. You can't claim that interest. Okay. Another thing that applies is the fees you pay to your tax preparer or to your accountant to prepare your taxes can be deducted against business, investment, or property income. Okay, so make sure you keep those receipts, and you make sure if you, for example, anything legal and all those that have to do with business, property, and investment income, make sure that you keep those receipts and you claim it against your taxes. Another thing is, for example, if especially now that people are talking about layoffs and whatnot, if you get laid off or if you get fired from a job and you have to use a lawyer in order to be able to get your severance and any other money that the company owes you, you can claim that against your taxes. So make sure you keep those receipts. The very next thing is charitable. Well, not next thing, and the last but not least, charitable donations. Make sure you keep your church receipts, not just church. For example, my family and I, we donate to church, we donate to other organizations that mean, different things to us, from homeless shelters to, different foundations that are battling certain diseases, So make sure that you keep those receipts and you claim them on your taxes for the year. Now, charitable donations is one of those things a lot of people think does not add up, but it actually does. No matter how small, it's still a credit. The government's way of saying, yes, thank you for supporting non-profits and, charitable organizations. The only key is they must be a registered charity. So make sure you confirm they are a registered charity. Okay? Thank you so much for watching this video. See you in the next one.